Okay, it has been another week. Today is June 13th. So this is my raised bed that's out in the field. The one that has the watermelon, the spaghetti squash, and the cantaloupe. And the spaghetti squash is taking over the cantaloupe. I'm going to have to trim some of those leaves back. And it is really starting to shade the radishes. So I've already pulled some of those radishes out because they were being overcrowded, and so here's what I have from that. Some of them were really small. I just pulled those not because they were ready to harvest, but because they were crowding out others. So, but a couple of them are big enough to eat, so I'll try those today. And the watermelon is really taken to the trellis. One of them is. Two of them are really just now starting to take hold again after I transplanted them because they were all too close. This spaghetti squash is getting huge, and I believe I did not take that into consideration whenever I planted it in here because there is the cantaloupe trying to take off and do its thing. So today I'm going to make some changes over here and get this stuff situated just a little bit more. I wish I had moved the cantaloupe over into the corner. I may just move that flower and try to transplant that cantaloupe if I can do it without harming it. I don't know if I can or not. I'll research it a little bit beforehand. Anyway, so there's the raised bed. And I need something on the other side of the trellis. The rose bush is doing extremely well. Beautiful blooms. I don't know what kind of rose this is because it was here when I moved here. But the blooms are beautiful and I love it. Here's my pinto beans. They really seem to be growing pretty well. I thought they were a bush style, but now I'm starting to see a little vine coming off of a couple of them actually. But this one is already wrapping around the string, so we'll see. It may be one of those type that is kind of a cross between a bush and a vine. But the quinoa beans on the other side are doing great. As you can see, there's one coming through the fence. He's coming out here to visit his friend, the pinto, so I'll have to go on the far side and pull him back in, and there's another one sneaking out the corner. So the beans are doing great. And I don't have any beans on these yet, but I am starting to see some flowers on some of them, which is good. So we'll be seeing beans before much longer. I'm excited. So excited about this garden. Okay, now on to some things that are in pots. And that sun is kind of hard to see. So you can see my romaine lettuce has bolted, so I don't know if it's too late to try and eat that or not. It may be too far gone, and it probably is. I have not tasted of it, so I'm just going to let a couple of them go to seed so I can get the seed from them. And the spinach as well. So now we're on the other side where the quinoa beans are at, and you can see they are doing extremely well. They are growing all the way up the fence. So I'm going to need to find those that have snuck through the fence and pull them back through. Some of the tomatoes still have little tomatoes on them, but are still none turning red. And this is the one that I cannot remember the kind that it is, but this tomato here seems to be getting a little bit of yellow color on it, so maybe it's getting ready to ripen. These jalapenos are still not even flowering, so I don't know what's wrong with them. Hopefully they'll come on here before long. These are more beans. These are different kinds, white, black, and kidney. Oh, I see some flowers on these. That's awesome. These are starting to flower, so that's great. Those are some cucumbers that I really just gave up on. But they seem to be doing a little bit better since I gave up on them. Strawberries have slowed production. These are the serrano peppers, I believe. Yep, serranos. And I don't see any blooms, but I do see some budding, so hopefully those will have some blooms before long. This is my little cucumber. I'm gonna try to get him to grow up the fence. Oh, I see a little baby cucumber on there. Right there. I need to get some tape and come get all of this stuff off of it again. The sweet potatoes are really doing well, or at least on the outside. I hope they're doing well. They're really starting to grow out of the pot, literally. These are snackable reds, and they're starting to get some buds on them, I see. But the growth is spectacular. Mandevilla is still beautiful as ever. And there's, of course, always stuff sitting around that I still need to plant, so. And these Kenwan beans that we've planted over here are really starting to take hold of the fence, the little trellis that we've made for them. They're all really growing and climbing. And I'm starting to see some buds on these. So these will have flowers and beans before long as well. This one's going the wrong direction. We can get him going the right direction. So some of these I just planted not too long ago, so they're not doing as good, but anyway. There's that spaghetti squash in a pot. It's doing really well. This watermelon is still not doing well, although it has grown some since last week. I'm going to have to really look at it with a fine-tooth comb today and see if I can figure out what's going on with it before it dies out. That's the crimson sweet, and I really don't want to lose it. This is another pepper. These are the chili red peppers, and they're starting to get little buds on them everywhere. So we'll start having a lot of peppers on these before long. The little sparse areas of corn I've got, it's doing really well. That is eggplant. I assume it's doing well. See some holes in the leaves where some